Hello, hello, Imagine. It's once again time to do more Poppet Quest. And this time I actually made another NPC that I was going to add in here. So this update will get 2 additional NPCs. Hi April, how's it going? Oh yeah, one of the NPCs I added. Actually, I've already put her in the game. She's doesn't have a lot of dialogue yet, but Benicia. She's a floating mask. Looks kind of like a little fairy when she's like floating around in the levels too. It's kind of funny. I was reminded of the little fairy from Zelda that says, "Hey, listen." Now I have a Clockwork Bunny, but I forgot to make 2D images for it, so no 2D images for Clockwork yet, but I can put him in the regular levels. That's exciting. So how's your day going, April? Can't believe I forgot to make 2D images for this. Just gotta do a quick thing to the file so they're usable, and then I will add him to the game. Right here. Actually, I have one for him. He was originally going to be a character. He was actually in the original Game Jam version. Then he kind of got replaced by Tinka as the narrator. Because at the time I hadn't even made Tinka, I made her much later. And the Game Jam for this was like, I think 2.5 years ago at this point. And I like immediately shelved the game. Yeah, that thing was terrible. Actually, wait a minute. One of the old versions of the game might have 2D images, which would be good enough. Wouldn't be great, but... Ah, yes, right here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Not completely ideal, but perfect. Yeah. Adjust those real quick. Well, those don't even say 2D on them. Ugh. Do a bunch of file renaming here. So I can, let's do this. We'll do idle. I'll replace it with idle 2D. That should work. Grab all those. I'll probably make new ones later, but in the absence of the new ones, this will let me just actually work on the game. Just adding another casual 230 images to the game. Nice. Hmm. Yeah, she didn't want to chat. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Alright, well, Clockwork is in here. It has 20 frames to idle. I guess it's more of a he, really. Alright, so... yeah, let's just add him in. Sure, the first version won't have all the things I want them to, but that's okay. Oh, that's right, I need to go through and all this stuff is in the quest thingies. Made it a lot easier to keep track of everything, so that's why it was there. I don't know about starting at this time of day. It seems like it's not a very good time of day. I really do seem to get way better traffic later in the day. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure I even want to start this later at this point. I mean, I originally did it because I had no choice, but, you know, if there's a choice, you know, I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, I would like to pick a later time. After all, when I logged off yesterday, there was 4 people watching. That didn't even happen until like the last 2 hours of the stream. So it might be that that's actually the best time for it. It makes sense, really. So I should probably move Miranda out of the that scene. It's awkward to constantly rewrite a new story for the prototype, but at the same time, doing that also gives people a reason to replay it, I guess. It's not ideal. That reminds me. I need to take Clockwork here and put him on the character phases. I'm eventually going to adjust them all so that this is, they all have like more, I think. Well, we'll see. The regular people might not have more. I was going to have a bunch of different faces for Poppet and everything, and Tinka and things, but I don't even know if I want to go to the trouble to keep changing them all or not. It's a lot of work. It's kind of a lower priority, but if I change it on a few, it kind of looks weird, so I don't know. Okay. Where is it? Right over there? His ears kind of make him a little tall and therefore hard to kind of fit in there, but that's okay. That's probably fine. Alright, any new NPCs have to be added to a different one. Some of the characters can't really do expressions. That's like everybody but Miranda on there. And like I say, I don't think Miranda's supposed to be in the actual game, so, you know. I don't want her to be in the game specifically. She's just kind of an option. Until I come up with something better. So we change this to Clockwork. I gotta do a bunch of writing today. Maybe I'll work on that before I get into programming later. Even though I'd much rather do art right now. Well, let's just do Clockwork on all these ones here. He doesn't have dialogue yet. Their dialogue will get more complicated as they get quests too. We'll have more complicated quests as I go. Super sore from doing PT today. I don't think that PT is very good. Like the one I've been doing, it seems like I end up with a sore neck and back off of it, or like neck and shoulders, and it doesn't really seem to be helping like I want it to be. Okay, so we'll put clockwork probably in that level. That seems reasonable. Oh, I was trying to make this boss rush thing work. Well, I'll do the boss rush later. I'm probably gonna do writing it first. But I definitely think that it's gonna be some different ordering here. In this case, let's take Miranda here, and we'll move her down to the boss rush. I don't think I actually need this for anything, but whatever. Clockwork. Oh, no, that's where Miranda's supposed to be. My bad. The joke could be that she went off to go fight the bosses because they were holding up the game. That sounds like a Miranda thing to do. Well, not really. She's not particularly a combat type of person, but whatever. A 145 needs to spawn inside here. Oops. Oh, no, not that one. Change this one. Alright, now I need some writing. I have so much writing to do. We'll keep up on clockwork later. We'll add to my giant dialogue thingy. Let me bring up a second one. No. I should have the logo at the top. I mean, this is slowly becoming my game dev Bible, so it should have all the goods, don't you know? Don't ever leave any image in there with a weird name, otherwise it won't be able to export correctly, and you will be really, really sad. Like the saddest of sad that ever sadded. That level of sad. It's not good. Don't be that level of sad. You only half that level of sad or something. It's better that way. I probably removed it from the thing, didn't I? Yeah. This logo is much better for this. I need to really just start dividing it up more. This thing is getting huge. 32 pages now. Only 5,747 words, but there's a lot of images in here too, so, you know, I've been kind of documenting the entire game. So it's kind of a good thing to keep track of, I think. Alright, well. We're time to write because there's very few distractions. What else do I need to write is the question here. I wrote it a post-fight for Don Fluffles. I need to write a post-fight for Rework. Snuggle Waffle. Pre-fight. To not include Miranda. Instead, mention Clockwork. Quest dialogue. Let's write Clockwork first. Clockwork quest dialogue. I don't know if the boss conversations are going to get added in yet. Soon. Definitely soon. Yeah, the story things need to be rewritten the most. And then about challenging the bosses to help speed the game along. Sure. I mean, they're just notes, but Google would like to correct them, and that's fine. I mean, it's not horrible. Yeah, it really is just a lot of writing, and then I need to program the quest thingy here. I want Clockwork to be a recyclable quest, I think. If I do that and make him a recyclable quest, well, there's more work if I do that. Well, I could go either way with that. It's just where do I want to use Clockwork? Am I going to use him as a, character who's all the time a quest in there, which would be nice to have additional quests, or to be something else entirely? That is quite the decision there. I mean, there is kind of a random funny gag of Miranda constantly, interfering with the game, so it would make sense for me to change it up like that. But I kind of made Clockwork with the intention of providing more content for each area. And it's probably better to keep the random joke running like that, and, well, it's a lot less work to do the other. I'll think about that one. Originally, I was just going to have him be on a hunt for arms because he doesn't have arms. That's Clockwork's big joke, is that he has painted on arms. And because of that, he's, looking for his arms. So he collects dull arms to try to find ones that fit him. I'm going to rename this here. It's no longer scenes. It's just the game Bible. It's just straight up a game Bible at this point. It's got all the scenes. It's getting additional text, and it's got pictures of things going on. I mean, it's going to be quite the serious document here of just too much stuff. Story that I'm not sure if I'm going to use yet. What the quest rewards are going to be. I'll make character dialogues here. So this one here, I suppose I had to put the characters' pictures in here, right? Maybe a smaller picture of him, not the big picture. That's not a bad idea. Let me grab those real quick and a lot of times it's just about organizing the game, because the more organized things, the easier it is for me to just kind of do things. Could change the text color. It is kind of getting to that point where they're kind of hard to tell them all apart. I want him to be a reusable character. I really do want extra content, and extra quests in every single area I think is far stronger than having one random character that you talk to. So I think I'm going to leave it as it is. And, you know, play the ball as it lies. We'll go the golf method here. So what do I need for him? I need a, like a greetings. So it's like a quest given. Let me make a list of these things that I need. I'll move this over to the side here so I can just write quest given. I need, so quest still active. I think one of these never triggers. Memory serves. Quest giver saved. I think it gets added in later though when I add the stuff in. Yeah, there's like 2 quest givens. I don't know why there's 2 quest givens. This looks more like a quest still active. I want to see this one even triggers. Okay, so I need those 3. And then he's going to want some sort of, if he's in town. He could be unlockable after 3 and then have you, well, it's more fun if he's in the levels and you have to find him and give him stuff. In the hub. We need those. And then I need a Venetia one too. Slowly but surely, I will get all this together so that it is less of a mess. That's weird, Opera. I mean, it's basically all the same things, right? Wait, Venetia's tiny? She would be purple. If that's the case, if we're going to color code him, then red would make more sense for clockwork, probably. This character is just probably better. I should just copy paste this. What am I doing? I don't think I need an underline at that point. It's just, it's so big. Or that. Now it's just a straight up header. It seems much better to me, you know? Needs to go on the next page, but whatever. This is not getting added in yet about the toy maker, so we're leaving that out. I might make really cool text for this and everything like that, just making my game dev Bible really cool. And I'll probably put it all in the World Anvil. Should just have a server for it. Then I can actually just have the game playable online at all times, which would be pretty sweet, actually. I think people would be excited by that. I gotta remember to just toss things in rather than try to get all crazy. Maybe these should actually be the ones that are colored in. Yeah, let's just do these a different color and not use like that. Guess the characters can all be purple or something. Really divide this up a little bit. Can you align the pictures too? Yep. Might as well make it look good, huh? The longer I do this, the more I make everything more and more organized. I want to color the backgrounds, but we'll get to that. I'm going to definitely have a lot more as things go along here. Map 3 is not anything being used. I should just move this out of the way. It's unused stuff. Unused. Right, that'll make it now it's 34 pages because I added in so much stuff there. It's getting to that point where it's probably going to be like a couple hundred pages by the time this game is done. Really needs an organization. really want Venetian Poppet to have, Venetian and Clockwork to have unique quests. Those are much bigger. I wonder why I made them smaller later. I don't know. I do like them being bigger though. 14 in bold. Almost too big, but whatever. Okay, that's weird. None. Alright, so where will we get to where Miranda is... Apparently it's slightly less in the pictures. Should have just copy pasted these big long ones, you know? Make it all nice and pretty. Pretty. I even wrote synopsises early on, and I stopped. I should just get to writing the things I want to write, and I'll get to the rest of it later. I guess I just have her, I guess Clockwork is the one you're rescuing there. It would be funny if she was continuing throughout the entire prototype and decided to charge into things. I don't know. Well, it's not an unfinished area of the attic either. So I guess we can do this here. like right here. We'll move the there is no game quest to this. Close enough for now. Means I gotta move this quest here. All this because I have a joke character who literally is, whose sole purpose is to just be added in and be a random nuisance in the prototype. I might as well copy this one because it's literally going to be the it's going to be her quest again, so how was I doing this one? I think it's actually over in DMs. I made a boss counter though. I remember having problems where it didn't spawn Binky, which was weird. Game variables, the 110. All right, so like 5 of them, right? It's Binky, Chuckles, Anna, Snuggle Waffle, and Dawn. Okay, so maybe when you unlock Clockwork and Venetia, they actually appear in previous levels too. That's my update ideas thingy. Actually, Venetia, Clockwork appear in previous areas with quests once saved. Hey Dave, how's it going? 5 rewards probably. No, I actually don't want to be part of the same list, but thanks for playing our game just the same. I hate when Google Auto does this. I actually found a way to disable it, so I don't have to deal with that crap anymore. It's so weird. Just indents them and then does some weird numbering thing and just changes things right in the middle of what I'm doing. It's just like, no, stop. You're not being helpful. There's actually 6 areas. Oh, now it deletes those too? What a dumb system. I don't understand. It just wants to do dumb things. I guess I'm doing dumb things in this engine too, but you know, still. I guess the first part of that is really good for doing just random things, but I'm not even putting in the boss rush. It's just going to be a fight against the bosses, and maybe you'll get a reward for beating all of them. I guess I'll do all these here and just put them in a thing so I can keep track of them. For now, these are the same ones. Probably should have just copy-pasted it, honestly, but I didn't. Nice. It copies dumb crap like that. You don't want that. Maybe it's because it has the quotations around it. I have no idea. Yeah, no, it's just a dumb add-on thing. And 4 is nothing, and then 5. What are we making this one? I gotta write these ones. I should disable this so it's not working in the background. Always helpful for the stream to have something grinding resources in the background. Oh, hey Mike, how's it going? What was the dialogue for all the chuckles here? I'm actually tempted to open a second copy of this just because it's a pain to keep track of. Oh, to scroll back through all of it. Remember what I wrote. How complicated am I going to make this quest dialogue? I don't have much space for him. It's only set up to really even use one line at the moment because of the crappy way that HUDmaker does it. Where it doesn't do multi-line. Too easy for it to do multi-line. Yeah, so let's make it simple. I'll get the feet. I'll come up with something better later, but like everything in this game, I just keep adding to it, and it'll just keep getting better and better. More importantly, I need to have it not be the same quest as Binky. So anything is better than that. Quite literally anything, yes. Let's see, this one is Anna. They currently all have the crappy tarot card quest. Go the period as well. Almost easier to just type it. What was the reason that she cited for killing off our that over here? Good old Twitter and the almost complete lack of any interaction I get on it. Wonderful. Gosh, I foolishly turned the heater on thinking it'd be cold, and it's supposed to be cold outside, but oh my god, the heater is just lighting me on fire. 1 second. Alright, so what did she say about Anna? I wrote a lot of dialogue about these things already. I'm trying to go with some consistency if I can. trying to think of an Annabelle joke to go with her dying. I'll have to come with an Annabelle joke later on that one. I'm trying to think of something that's just funny to say, but it is just not coming to me at the moment. That's okay. I have so many more lines of dialogue to write. I can always include that later. Oh, this quest's getting moved. Let's see. So we want 2. Medic 5. Dawn Fluffles. And the boss rush. And Miranda's getting moved to the boss rush. As she continues her quest to interfere with the game. I definitely had to make a reference to, oh gosh, what was it called? It's like There Is No Game. It's actually the name of it. Pretty certain it was. Let's see. Nope, don't play a video. Do not play someone's video. Let's see. Yeah, There Is No Game. That'd be kind of a fun one to play on stream. I could get behind that. Very inventive game. Got a game being upset that they their game was shelved, basically. It actually gets into a really weird, deep story. It becomes very meta too. Even goes into the real world. It's just a very bizarre game. A lot of fun. Not my finest dialogue description, but I don't really care that much for one that I'm just literally tossing in as a thing that'll probably get moved later, cut, and in general just dealt with, so I don't really worry too much about content that is temporary. It's not like I'm the Guild Wars 2 people who made all this temporary content and then took it out of their game. No. Well, actually, I kind of am doing that, thinking about it. Oops. Was nitro shock. Let's see, for this one here. Message for the Dawn. Defeat Dawn Fluffle. Ignore all instances of boozeberry. I know it's not a real word. Name the chat. Your chat will always have their own unique character, who of course is a drunken bear, because that sounds like a chat character. Sounds more like Twitch chat than my chat, but it was my chat that came up with it, so technically it's my fault for showing them the game.
Yes.
I think there's any other requests in here, right? Okay. You know, I was gonna have some sort of boss rush things, but uh, I just have to have there can be only one quest. Inform Tinka. That would be like the most, you know, over the top thing possible. Like if you actually do kill all the bosses, like Poppet gets struck by like lots of that lightning, like it's like the quickening from Highlander. It'd be so stupid. It'd be funny. I'd get a chuckle out of it. I'm probably the only person who would, but it would make me laugh, and I think that's really all that matters. You know, if I get a laugh out of it, not like I make money out of this game, so hey, you know, got to get my enjoyment where I can get it. I could call it Highlander mode, but I think actually if you, I think that's actually a copyrighted term, as dumb as that sounds. Maybe not though. Well, because it's a Toyota Highlander, so I guess you can't really copyright it, can you? I didn't want it to be a proper name. That's my biggest concern. It'd be a Highlander mode. But most people understand what a boss rush is, so. That reminds me, I should probably have a clock for the boss rush, right? Yeah, that to my other notes here. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do the Toymaker's notes in this one yet. I don't even know what I'm going to write for them. But, I mean, I have like 4 more days to figure this stuff out. That's quite a bit of time. Enough that I felt like I could add in another NPC. Also, it just felt really weird having Miranda be in the middle of the thing and her being a joke character that's just, you know, not even part of the game. And I think I'm making reference to that. Like, it's fun at the end of the game as a joke, but or the end of the prototype, but it's kind of weird in the center. Huh. I guess I don't have any information about the boss rush anywhere, huh? This update's coming with a lot of content. I mean, it's a boss rush, right? So you need some sort of a clock thing or something like that, some sort of thing for them to try to beat. Also need to note that spawn only Binky who never despawns. I had no idea what was causing that problem at like around 8 a.m. and I just said, no, I'm good. I think it was actually 8:16 a.m. or something when I finally turned the stream off. I got my 5 hours of sleep and then went right to PT, regretting all of my life decisions at that point. And got a massage and then proceeded to fail to sleep for a while. But I made a whole bunch of graphics for a character instead. I think 2 more hours of sleep right before the stream and pretty much good, right? That's 7 hours. That's good. Doesn't matter if it's broken up. right? Anybody? Maybe? I'm not making any more graphics right now. I don't think the Toymaker's photos are going to get put in this version. I get moved to the bottom there. I do need to add the music. I need to add sound effects for these people, though. Let's see. Taking a break from writing for a second while I think about what I need to even write. I think they just have a greeting. I don't think they need anything else. Later on, I'll record voices for them, but I haven't even done that yet. Maybe that's the next update. Have they? Sorry to hear that. You just sick, or you just life happening and you just haven't managed to really get enough sleep or treat yourself well? I need so many noises for him. Oh. Your sinuses are rebelling against the Empire, huh? I hate when that happens. They really are like those sly little rebels that you gotta watch all the time. You don't keep paying attention to them, they try to overthrow, but you know, keep an eye on them and they only occasionally kind of act up. I'm gonna keep this in my back pocket. That's actually how I've come to describe myself, as being sick to random people. I'll just tell them I have the plague, and I'll just explain that, you know, my nose is rebelling against the Empire or something like that. If I have, like, the sniffles or something like that, and just have make them look at me. It's like, what? They don't know. Perfectly fine. There's only one sickness out there, and it's the plague. That's it. That's all I ever tell people. It's all the plague. COVID, the plague. Common cold, the plague. I ate something terrible, the plague. I didn't want to talk to them, the plague. I hear the bosses talk with Poppet. I do kind of want to have that be a thing eventually. Do I have it now? This is like the dialogue update. Even for the second one was a pretty big dialogue update too. I think it like tripled the dialogue in the game. Well, it's really simple, Mike. I tell them I have the plague. It's a very good system. All sicknesses are the plague. Well, exactly that. I just tell them I have the plague. I'll probably tell them it's the zombie plague at that point. If I can show them a bite or something that looks like it's infected, I'll just be like, oh my god, I'm turning into a zombie. I already figured out that if I was ever in The Walking Dead, that I would be the worst jerk ever. Because I would sit there and I would make certain that I had some kind of, loud music player, maybe just a phone or something like that, and extended battery packs, something like that. So after I got bitten, I'd be walking around making a whole bunch of noise, causing all the zombies to follow me like I'm some sort of raid boss. See how many people I could take out with me. I wouldn't be around to know, but okay, whatever. I would die knowing that I probably caused the deaths of plenty of other people. Which would be funny. I figure you gotta treat it like Zombieland treated the apocalypse, you gotta get some laughs out of it. you better believe I will try for a piano kill. 100%. That just needs to happen. Like, I just want that. Will you just drop the piano on the zombie from high up? It needs to happen. I'll travel the countryside looking for my very own power armor. I'll have to go visit every military base at that point because I assume that one of them probably has it. I guess at that point you're probably at like Area 51, right? What, a zombie thing in this game? Or piano kill. I don't even know how I would implement a piano kill. There's no height. I mean, maybe in the 2D areas you could do that. You could visually show a piano falling on something. Yeah. The only problem is the piano is significantly taller than everything else, right? Because if you look, Poppet's walking by paintings, and your average painting is at most like 1.5 feet tall. So a piano is just gonna be like, it would be like a piano leg falling on them. Because, you know, Poppet's like 10 inches tall. She's tiny. It'd almost be hard to hit a target with a piano because, right, it's only the legs that could ever hit something because of how short they are. So you'd have to literally drop a leg just on the exact right spot because everything's so tiny. Maybe if within, like, you know, the other game I could see it. Since the other game everything's a normal size. That's actually probably the most useful thing when I was messing with Unreal Engine was the just showing the perspective of how big everything really is in relation to each other. Which is pretty hard to do in RPGMaker. I don't even know how you're supposed to fight the first victim. The first victim is human-sized. I've been trying to figure that out for a while. How am I going to implement that in this game? How would you fight a ghost anyway? Maybe she could possess toys or something and send them after you. Or it could just be environmental based attacks where literally she just changes the environment on you. It's pretty hard to have something like, you know, like an arm fall on the map or anything. You could fight her feet. Do the WoW strategy. You're just literally fighting their feet. I don't even know. I considered having the part to the ground, like, you know, vanish and like her head appears there or something like that, attacks. I don't know. I mean, I can do that because everything is just made out of events anyway, so I could just make an event vanish and have her head as a potential page of it, and just randomly picks one and flips its... Well, it would have to spawn an event. I couldn't just flip one of them. I'd flip them off during that time. I'd flip the event off. No, I'd flip the player off. Haha, sucker. No, I'd flip the event off and then spawn an event of, like, the first victim's head in that area. And then have it, like, attack you or something. I don't even know how I'm going to do that. It's just, the scope is too big. I'm able to figure out a good way to do it. Unless I make Poppet really tiny. I could shrink all the assets for that map and do it that way. Originally, Poppet was actually a lot larger in the before I started rescoping things. I actually shrunk her down to, I think, like 30% of her original size that she was in the Game Jam game. Huh. I don't know. I'm still puzzling over that. I'm only going to have so many bosses before you get to her, though. Because you're going on killing all of her favorite toys, so that's probably not going to bode very well. So probably about maybe like 8 bosses before. There's already like 5 bosses before in the game. I even want 8 bosses? Because the first fight isn't necessarily the end of the game. I mean, it could be if you want it to be, but it don't gotta be. It'd be a real surprise you get there and she doesn't even fight you. That'd be just bizarre. So who am I rescuing again? Downfall. It's Venetia. What does she say about Venetia? I mean, I can always put placeholder things in here too if I can't think of anything that I think is funny or even catchy. I can just put the you rescue this person and that's good. That's all you gotta put. Okay. Wrong one. This one. I referred to her as a pet earlier. I almost wanted to make her into a COVID joke, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't want to establish that as something that's in the world because nobody really wants to hear that. Even if I think it could be a funny joke, I don't really think that's what I want in there, to be honest. Also, toys don't get diseases. They might rot just from being old. That's true. I could establish that as a thing. Like, the toys really aren't immortal. Over time, their bodies could decay, but nah. It's more fun if they're just, endlessly cursed. Actually, perfect. No. Let me do this in a different order here. She spends a bunch of the time making mobster jokes beforehand, so... Um, I guess we'll just rescue Clockwork for now. But I actually do want him to go around the attic collecting doll arms because he's looking for his own arms. He doesn't have arms, he has little painted on arms. It should just be return Clockwork's missing hands. Am I going to put that quest near him? I don't know. It depends on how complicated I want the quests to be. Because in the next update, I will 100% add in quests. Like more complicated quests. But I worry that I'm adding too much to this update that I won't get it done, so... I think I just leave the quest the same for now. I'm almost certainly changing a bunch of these later. I guess for now you'll just lead him to safety. We're always gonna have Venetia reveal all the various secrets of the, like, have her like be a collector of all the random junk, mostly like, you know, of all the notes and everything like that. I actually wrote her as like a Toymaker fangirl, as weird as that is, like a pure Stockholm syndrome type of character, which falls in love with her captor. I guess I just make notes for personality, right? Stockholm? Is that spelled? No, it's not. I did mean that. Thank you, Google. Gotta figure out their personality traits, like figure out how they would talk. Over time, I've been adding a lot more dialogue in for each one. Not yet, but as their quests get more complicated, I'm gonna add a lot more. he'll be clueless. No, I don't want to like that. Too trusting of other toys. Not really clueless, just, you know, thinks the world is better than it is, which is adorable when you think about it, because, you know, clearly he's stuck in an attic full of cursed toys, which means he was killed off at some point, and his soul was stuck in a toy. So you know, he was very trusting, but then he's still trusting, which is weird. Not a very serious character. Don't want to say he hides behind humor. I don't know if he hides behind it. That's fine. Not a very serious character. We'll say he hides behind humor. Arms because his are missing. Wait, what? Look at this kind of dumb thing. Seeking arms because he are missing? What kind of dumb suggestion is that? It doesn't make any sense at all. You suck, Google. Seeking arms because he is missing is what they were trying to put in there, which just makes... What? There's no logical thought at all. Make her controlling, and maybe a perfectionist. She just seems like that type. I mean, if you look at how she's dressed, she's got a very, you know, proper look to her and everything like that. Very, well, a very fancy look, I should say. Kind of person who want everything to be absolutely perfect. Clearly from high society. Guess I should have all the quests in now. Oh, you know what? I think I like this better. Let's do a change here. This, I like part of this quest, but this should actually be the last laugh. I think that makes more sense. I guess I don't really want to have it capitalized necessarily. These are all things you never think about when making a Diablo style game. All the quests, every little dumb dialogue thing you need to write somewhere, it just adds up. So much of it. So much of it. Let's see. This is going to make a lot more sense when I actually put the rest of it in. Almost fitting if you have some quick, thing to take hands off after rescuing a character who wants hands. Or I guess arms. I guess to be fair, Clockwork does not specify that he wants hands. He specifies that he wants arms. Which would be funny if he got arms but not hands attached to it, making them not terribly useful. Oh, this should be shoes, right? Because, you know, in the mob, when you kill someone, you, one of the feigned ways is to give them a pair of cement shoes. I gotta remember that. It's important. For reasons that we'll make up later. That updates all the quest stuff, so I can move that off of my list of things I need to get done. Not always something I add to the list of things that have been updated, though. It's just kind of a thing that gets expected when you add in new characters. As you can see, he has no arms. He is painted on arms. Wait a minute. Well, that's true. I wanted to put a "Hey, listen" joke in for Valencia. I could just have a voice line for her saying "Hey, listen" when you talk to her. It'd be funny. Hi, hey Katagi, how's it going? Just adding more characters to the game. And writing quest dialogue. Yes. Guess I should be consistent with what I have on each of these things here. Well, I got Benicia, who's a floating mask. She's a character with Stockholm syndrome. She's become something of a fangirl of the toy maker, the person who, you know, killed her and put her soul in a mask, because she collects all of the messages about her and everything, about him. Never like any like notes he's left, any pictures she can find of anything that was even remotely his, and she just collects it all. She's been captured by Don Fluffles. Then I'm adding in Clockwork, who's a basically a little clockwork bunny who has only painted on arms. So he's like wandering around the attic looking for his arms. He doesn't really have arms. He never had arms in the first place, but he finds other doll arms and he tries them on. So he's going to be wandering around. I'm going to have him like show up lots of times, I think, honestly. Like once you find him the first time, I think he'll actually appear in other levels too. And this way, you know, with Quest looking for more arms until he finds his, right? Those would be the two new NPCs that get added in this one. And of course, Don Fluffles, but I was already working on him yesterday. And of course, I'm working on a boss rush, which is not a character being added, but should be, well, it's kind of an easy mode to toss in, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, it's just going to be those three for this. I'm trying to have it all done by Saturday. And usually on Saturday, if I get to that point, then what I do is, I try to be a little out there. But usually on Saturday, I run a couple playthroughs of the game. The first one before I export it, just to see if it works, and then one after I've actually, you know, exported it. Which is pretty cool early on, but as the game gets longer and longer, I might not be able to run two playthroughs of this game on one stream. We'll see. Yeah, today I'm kind of going through and writing the various stuff here. Oh, they're not playable characters. They're just, they're quest givers, basically, like that, or NPCs wandering around. At this point, the only playable character is just Poppet. There might be another playable character later, maybe. It's like a, almost just like a reskin or something, but I don't know. We'll see. I figure if I had any other characters in that are playable, that'll be way down the road because, well, I already am having trouble balancing Poppet, so we'll get there. Plus, any other character, I wouldn't really have a story for them. Like if the entire story is like Poppet's thing, I'd have to rewrite the entire story for them, or just make them just a throw-in character that doesn't really have a story. Which I could do, I guess. Be easy to reskin Poppet. That I could do. Kind of an unlockable hidden character if you actually, or hidden outfit if you actually manage to, I don't know, beat the boss rush or something. I'll think about that. Poppet's a lot of images though. Like, and now Poppet is 1,561 files. And her ghost form is another 300 files. So which isn't really a lot of, it doesn't take a lot of space. It just takes a long time to render all the images. There was a running gag that I could put like Miranda in this game as her, because all her files are here anyway, and just have her like her weird combat be something that's playable in here. But nothing's balanced around her style of combat, so I don't know. Because her combat's literally about running away from things, so it's really, really hard to even effectively hurt the player because the player's constantly running away. You know how hard it is to keep up with a player whose entire like attack pattern just keep running away? It's awful. It's just awful. It was actually a problem I had with that game, was trying to balance it, and I couldn't figure out what I was going to do because of the fact that I just had such a problem making anything a danger to her. I gotta rework what Miranda even gives as a reward. The bosses are not going to have conversations in this one. I'm already adding a lot of content that has to be done by Saturday. Yeah, okay. Those will get added in later. I figure Prototype 4 will be where I get much more complicated quests. Like, this is more laying the groundwork for a bunch of the quests and stuff. But yeah, I don't think I'll have time to do all that too. Oh yeah, mostly it's just a question of time it takes to produce such a thing. That's all it is. Like, I mean, at some point, sure, I could totally see that. Because, I mean, this is a continuous project that I'm just always updating, so... yeah, like, I don't see any reason it couldn't have that. Definitely not going to be multiplayer. Multiplayer in RPGMaker. Oh. I've seen people try it before. The engine already has problems with just one character. Oh, the big problem. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a long time to make a character. Not even just the abilities, but just the graphics alone take quite a bit of time. Usually I just design a model and then I make the animations for them and then just render the animations. So. Yeah. You feel my pain. You understand. It's rough. It's a possibility. I'll add it to the list of things that I kick down the road until I happen to do it. So, alternate character and or look for Poppet. I pretty much take all the ideas that the stream suggests and add it to my list, and well, the reasonable ideas. Some people are just, I don't even know what they're smoking, but there are limitations to what this engine can and can't do. Like, can you have like 10 playable characters? No, I'm not gonna have 10 playable characters. I'm sorry. No. Maybe if the game keeps getting added to for like a really, really long time. Oh yeah, like first person. Like, there's been a lot of things there. One of the requests I get also that is kind of a hard no is that they request any character that isn't a toy. Because, well, if they're not a toy, they'd be giant sized, which doesn't fit with the world. Like, someone's like, can you have like a small boy there? I'm like going, the small boy, it'd be like Shadow of the Colossus if there was a boy in there. Like, Poppet's tiny. I'm still trying to figure out how you could actually battle a human-sized ghost in this engine. I have not come up with a good method yet. I do need to come up with a method, though. Might just be shrinking Poppet down even further, but that would mean I have to rebalance all of her abilities too, so, or actually resize them. Or do the whole WoW battle their feet thing. Be a lot easier in Unreal Engine, where things like, 3D and I could actually show size, but I don't know. I still got a few bosses before I hit the point where you're gonna encounter the first victim anyway, so I don't need to figure it out yet, but probably in about a month I need to have an answer. I think I wrote this already, right? The Don Fluffles post-fight? I'm sure I did. Gosh, my game dev Bible is getting... Let's see, how big is it now at this point? 35 pages? Yep. I think I added 5 pages today. I should add the other dialogue in. On the plus side, if I ever decide to switch engines, at least I'll have an entire, like, I'll have all the dialogue figured out and the entire gameplay loop and everything good to go. I will attempt to not eye Unreal Engine too hard, though, as I do that, because I will certainly go to Unreal Engine if that's the case. Or yeah, better assets than that too. I'm putting all the rewards in here. Let's see. There's those empty switches of this, blah, blah, blah. Gets the next one in the array and then adds that. When is game variable 71? I don't even know. Got the system up like, I think, a month ago. I don't remember one bit. Abilities unlocked. I guess that's possible. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a ghost floating around, so having it be just stuck in the map doesn't make too much sense because it's a ghost, so it could just pass through the map. I don't know. I mean, I could just scale it up so it's larger, I guess. She'd have to be huge. And then she just gets stuck on everything. Well, unless she just literally had a... Well, I guess she'd have through on the whole time because she's a ghost. She just passed through everything. I don't know. It's probably what I gotta do without a better idea. Unless I can have some way to make her more of a force on the map as opposed to an actual regular enemy. Like a force that you have to take out smaller objectives in order to stop her. That's an idea. I gotta think about that one. I don't know. It depends on how I write the story for it, to be honest, because, well, the story's kind of getting written as I go. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's like, oh, I came up with this great idea. Let me toss that in there. Keep expanding upon it. I mean, there's a basic story, what I'm trying to get to, but sometimes the restrictions in the engine and how the gameplay is force me to have to make changes that make more sense. Well, here's the thing. JavaScript, works in a web page, and it lags if you use too many resources. Like if you would cause lag in any other web page, it causes JavaScript to, throttle itself. All the browsers do it. They throttle JavaScript. So if you use too many resources, which is often only 20 to 30% of the computer's resources, you'll get throttled down to 30 FPS. If you go too far, it'll just start lagging completely out. That's why it's such a terrible game dev language. It's like one of the worst out there. But a lot of times it's not a question of a limitation on that so much, because I can always make a graphic bigger. The real limitation is just the collision and how the character would interact. Because, I mean, if you look at the size, say like Dawn Fluffles, and realize Dawn Fluffles is like a stuffed tiger cat. Like, it's not even that big. It's probably standing. We'll say he's like one of those big tigers you win at a fair. He's what, like 1.5 feet tall? Best. Then you take we're gonna go a young girl, probably about 14, 15, somewhere in there, who's probably closer to almost 5 feet. Yeah. So, or whatever that is in meters. I'm sure, what, 1.6 meters or something? Rough guess. Maybe a little taller than that. He would just tower over things. Which would really just kind of block what people could actually see, for that matter, too. Huh. I don't know. I'll think about that one. Alright, this is here. I've been puzzling over it for a while. I don't really want to do the whole World of Warcraft thing where you fight her feet, because that's really lame. But yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely think about it. It's not, well, okay, there's a potential ending of the game at that point, but it shouldn't be the actual end of the game anyway. After all, once the game ends, then I'll have to make another game for stream content. Can't do that. Or I'll just fix the other game. Or I'll finally just be like, yep, Unreal Engine, and just ditch RPGMaker. I think about it when I sleep at night, using a better engine, and how wonderful it would be. Let's see. Programming in a better block. But I forgot what number I set block to. Okay, that is not helpful. Thunder spells. 271. I have considered having like just disembodied pieces of her show up and fight. Which means, I mean, it could actually just be like you battle her hands, you battle her feet or something like that, you know, and you could even form together as an actual boss too after you beat all those things. So that's an idea. I'll have to think about it. You can always add it to the list of ideas. What's the worst that happens, right? I'll make a note of it. Let's see. And then maybe have a reform. And split apart again. Something like that. We could just forego the animation on this. This my errors that I might eventually get to at some point here. Make their projectiles. And depending on which errors I want to fix with this particular update. Well, I don't know, being able to actually build physical maps that are, you know, specific to how I want them and not having to use a massive memory manager in order to even make this engine able to run this in the first place. It's hard to have very specific maps. Also, I can't see the maps that as I'm building them, so that makes it really hard too. But there's a lot of restriction on what the collisions are going to be like. It's bad. Like, you have to be real specific on what you can use. The colliders are very limited, and what you do have is really hard to figure out what the size is going to be without actually running the game to check each time. So it's really, really slowed down that and really restricted what can and can't be done. But I mean, this game can't normally run in RPGMaker at all. I literally have a memory manager that I built just so it could run in RPGMaker. This engine is not powerful enough to run this game at all. It is programmed so poorly in so many ways that it's basically a giant it's a giant memory hole. The whole game, the whole engine is. There's so many things they've done. It's just they keep adding to arrays endlessly, so that the longer you're on a map, the more likely you are to cause that lag out problem that JavaScript has. It's crazy. It is so badly programmed. Of course, I already made all that, so now it's too late. Sunk cost fallacy has won this day. There's a very good chance that a later prototype will just get moved on to Real Engine. I'm not gonna lie. We'll see. I guess, to be fair though, this is special because it's made in such a crappy engine. Because if I made this same game in Unreal Engine, so what? Right? It's like, you know, par for the course for Unreal Engine. Actually, it probably wouldn't even look that good for Unreal Engine. But in RPGMaker, it's like the best looking thing out there. We're pretty close. It's definitely in the top. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm like sticking with it, even though it's like the guy who did the Doom pregnancy test thing. It's literally just only impressive because it's so crappy. But yeah, you know, the worst part is, even though I'm making this thing and it's impressive for the engine, the actual people who make the engine, gotcha games, are always looking for games to showcase and tell people about, and they refuse to even mention my game. I don't know why. I'm just like, but guys, I can show your engine is much better than you think. No, you're only going to showcase the most boring, you know, cookie cutter, use all the default assets games possible. You're trying to sell this engine, right? What? I've been trying to figure out for a while. And this particular version of the engine is super unpopular too, because it was viewed as being almost exactly the same as the previous one. So unpopular that they've been releasing they're going to release a new version for Unity, but called RPGMaker Unite, and it's, oh my gosh, it looks terrible. It looks like they crammed this but into Unity. Why would you even want this in Unity? Like, what? Unity already has better. Why would you do that? I don't get it. Their roadmap literally has in November that they're going to add 8 directional movement. It's actually releasing with only 4 direction movement. I don't even know. I read the roadmap. I was just laughing too hard. I just don't understand. They already have 8 direction movement in these versions. Yeah, that's my rant about them. They're right now a meme going on. Yeah, exactly. Just if you're already in Unity, just use Unity. Like, I don't understand who they're making it for. Originally, I thought it was a good idea because I thought they would make, I don't know, something that would actually make use of Unity to make RPG games, you know, and it just allow you to use their assets and things. And because right now you can't use RPG Maker's official assets in anything besides RPG Maker. Like that's how the licensing is. So it would give you the ability to use it in Unity, and that's cool, yeah, sure. But no, it's so limited. It's terrible. I mean, yeah, like, there you go. See, Doom Engine's got us beat. I mean, with plugins, we can have 360-degree movement, but it's still 2D images, so it'll never turn like a model, even if you can move like in any direction you want. It'll never look that great. It's still going to be 2D at the end of the day, but seriously, like 8-direction movement? Like, really? Like, what? That's something you can't even release with your game? Like, with your engine? Like, really? Huh? And we heard about this engine back in, 2022, I think? Well, that's fair. I guess Doom didn't really have like 3D models per se. It just had a bunch of images and it just turned the image towards the camera. If only I had camera control. Oh my gosh, what a dream. I could double the amount of angles. The problem is the entire engine I have for purposes, or actually the entire system I have for purposes of like pixel movement and everything like that, is made by some random person as an add-on to this. And it didn't really include a way to check for more than 8 directions in the first place. So I put an animation thing on top of it, but with only the information being handed to it of 8 directions, I have to literally code into their plugin how to sense additional directions. And, you know, I already made their plugin work with MZ over MV. I already done a lot to that plugin, but I don't know if I want to do even more to it. Maybe at some point. But then I also realized, like I said, Poppet already has like 1,500 images for when she's not in ghost form and 300 for when she's in ghost form. Now imagine if I add, basically just double that, because I added 8 more directions. Now you're looking at a total like 3,600 graphical files for her. Which isn't, it doesn't take a lot of space. It's more of just a question of having to render all of that. Just takes a lot of time. Yeah. How else am I supposed to animate her? This is literally just flip booking. Poppet has 1,561 files for just her. And then her ghost form has 300. I mean, those are the protected ones, but I'll show you the non-protected ones just to show you what I'm talking about here. It's... Yep, there you go. Look at all these beautiful images. Yep, that's why they're smooth. They're like almost 30 frames. I think they actually... Oh, this one is like 30 frames because it goes from 0 to 29. Yeah. But if you got 30 frames in every direction, or in 8 directions, 240 images. Just saying. And you can see there are a lot of images for Poppet. Oh my god. And the 2D images are terrible too. This makes me wish I didn't have the 2D areas as well. Like, I wish I'd picked one of the two. So, yeah. This is... There's a lot of images for... I'm still scrolling through them. I mean, yeah, I wanted to tell you. There's a lot of images for Poppet. Even as a walk, which I don't even use. Because nobody in their right mind would want to walk if they didn't have to. There you go. There's finally at the end of them. There's a lot. This is just... And it takes the because the female's hair tends to be a lot of triangles, they tend to it makes it take a lot more rendering. Like they're basically over twice the size of the regular models because of the fact that the hair is like strand-based hair. Yeah, and she does have it. I think she uses it like briefly during some cutscenes or something, but it's just not used very often. Oh, thanks. I'm slowly making it even more polished. Even though the first review the guy ever did was how unpolished it was, which was pretty funny. I was like, it's a prototype. It's not even supposed to be polished. Literally just me starting this game out with an idea. Yeah, I'll make more animations for it. I just made a bunch for Clockwork today. I have 230 made for Clockwork, and Venetia got, I think, probably 230 as well. Oh, she has 300. So that was what I did in the last 2 days. A lot of it really just comes down to time. I guess I'm going to test this out. Well, let's do it this way. Let's have it use the ability out of the rewards. Pretty much. It was funny to watch this guy's review of it. Like, okay, I know the game isn't polished for sure, and I actually made almost every change he suggested, except for a couple that were just outright weird. One of the first things he did in the first version of the game, when you come out of the box, it doesn't say the names above the various options. An oversight, sure. Dude spent 3 minutes complaining about that. Okay. Then he goes and checks the options menu and discovers I haven't customized the options menu. Spends like 3 minutes talking about that and how I should have. Okay. Then he enters the game. Sure. Then during the actual intro, he complains that I mentioned that prostitutes are criminals in my world. And saying how they're not criminals, blah, 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 and how he's used them too. And goes into about a 5-minute tirade about how prostitutes aren't criminals. Never mind the fact that in my world, it is outlawed and there is a reason for it. Irrelevant. I was like, okay. Then he complains about my falling animation being not very good. It's not a very good animation. It's placeholder, sure. That wasn't very long. But then he sits there and watches each and every single animation play through. Every walking animation, every idle animation for both Poppet and Tinka to see if they're exactly, the lighting is perfect on them. No joke. Dude went on for like 6 minutes of just that. And I'm like, what the? Okay, that's weird. Sure. And then he ignored all the points where the controls were mentioned and couldn't figure out how to play. And then proceeded to go into a tirade how he thought that Poppet's run animation was too fast for her and looked like she was Naruto running. Okay. These are like long things. He just kept talking about it. It's like, okay, that's fair, sure. And I agree. Her run is too fast for the 2D things. I do need to improve it. It was Miranda's run, and I just literally stole it from the other game and dropped it in. It's too fast. I get it. And then he just sits there and makes fun of Tinka for like, I think 2 minutes or something. I was like, okay, well, you don't like her. Sure. Discount Harley Quinn. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. And then sits there and proceeds to slowly but surely go through the story, which was longer initially. But eventually he is so tired of it that he just starts clicking through it and clicks through all the information on what he's supposed to do. This is half an hour in at this point. The original intro took about 6.5 minutes. So at half an hour in, literally, he finally gets to the combat area, has no idea what to do, still doesn't know the controls, doesn't talk to Tinka to find out, didn't pay attention to Tinka telling him, hey, do the quests, gets in there, and says the game sucks. And apparently his shtick is that he only does 35-minute reviews. And I'm like, well, okay. I learned some helpful things. I made almost every change the guy recommended, but I'm just like, I was kind of hoping you would, I don't know, do what normal players do and just click through the story really fast because you were bored or whatever and play the game. No? It was really weird. This is my first streamed review, and I was like, all right. And he didn't know about the project either. He didn't know what it was, or like he didn't know there was a prototype, even though it says it. And I was like, okay. So he goes to review my store page for it, and he's like, is this a free game? Like, yeah, it's a free game. It says it's a prototype, and yeah. I mean, like, that's fair. A lot of people skip through dialogue, especially if you just don't care, or if it's like even more than one playthrough like that. People will skip the dialogue. That's expected. I shortened the intro, and I added more dialogue in other places to kind of cover the story, but and added in more points where it's skippable. But it was just like, wow, okay, it's really weird. I made notes for all of it. I put it all up there and like that, you know, the summation of what he said and everything like that, you know, just all the notes, what he didn't like and everything. And because I changed almost everything. He wanted bindable keys too, and I was like, first off, this is RPGMaker. Is there even a way to bind keys? There is. I found some. Or was I have to program it? And I was like, and he didn't like the options may not be customized. I haven't done either of those yet. Or I haven't changed the Naruto run animation. But I've just basically fixed everything else he mentioned. I even shortened the intro story to like less than half. I pay attention to what people say, but I was just dumbfounded. I was like, wow, that's so much time spent on what was supposed to be like sub 7 minutes of the game. Weird. Really weird. Only because his entire review method was 35 minutes. He had a restricted time, so he wasn't going very fast for 35 minutes. I don't know if it was in bad faith. I actually just think that he wants something out of it. He was expecting the wrong thing from the game. I don't think he understood that it was a prototype, which is just literally an idea that is not finished, not polished, not anything. It's just a concept that you've thrown out there. And he thought it was like a beta or something. I think he went at it thinking it was a beta and then discovered it wasn't and was very annoyed at that. I mean, I appreciate the review, but I was just really dumbfounded. Now, and it wouldn't even have been that weird if he wasn't restricted to the 35 minutes. I think that was what really surprised me. Because if you're the kind of person who goes off on tirades, you should probably change your review strategy to not 35 minutes. You should probably just play the game for however long you're going to play it. Because like you're not going to get to play much of the game if you stop every few minutes to talk about something. That's weird. Just my thoughts on it. But no, I appreciate your reviewing it like that. I just was confused a bit. I don't know. He apparently rates a lot of like RPGMaker games and everything. I was originally going to ask him to review it once I got into a farther phase. He decided to review it himself, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, he did review it. Oh yeah, hours-long introductions. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is never going to happen. Let's start with block 2 here. I don't know. Yeah, I take everything people say and I toss it in and. Well, I take everything under advisement. Some people's suggestions really are just no. It's just no. If it would break the story, no. If it's not possible in the engine, then no.
Are you ready?
Someone did ask for multiplayer, and I'm like, no. If it were a real engine, sure, but this engine, no.
Sense danger. Don't even try.
I do something with those. Probably just remove them. That's right.
Take cover. Take cover.
Let's see, F8 here. Is it not running that? Yeah, I had ray tracing. You'd be surprised. I mean, I get it. These people want things that are in normal games. They just don't realize it's this engine. And, you know, that's definitely something that I think a lot of the devs that I've talked to don't realize. Is that players are not going to give you any kind of leeway just because you used a crappy engine. They don't care. They don't care at all. There's things they're expecting, and you're either going to have them or you're not. And there's plenty of games that do have them. The only brownie points I really get for using this engine are just literally on YouTube. It's pretty much it. Like, people just going, "You're using what? Why?" This did not add +1 to this. Yeah, it's definitely nice. The world and the graphics have done a lot to get people interested. And hopefully the gameplay isn't awful. That's my working theory here. So far, the few people who've actually gotten to the gameplay have said they found it reasonably fun. It's not great. It's not finished. I get it. I'll keep adding more. There will be more to the gameplay. Hey, Blinded Journeyman. Yeah, pretty much. It takes a game dev to respect bad games. It really does. Like, we're the ones who know what it takes. We're the ones who've gone through the trenches. And a player has not. So I'm so much more forgiving. Like, I remember... this is one of these funny things to me. I remember basically shaming RPGMaker games back when pretty much when my friends were like in our 20s and everything like that. We just literally... We thought they were crap. Not gonna lie, no cap. We literally thought they were crap. We literally were hiding them on our Steam thing. We didn't want to even see them. And now I play more of them ever since I got in the community, and I respect them a lot more for what they try to do, even if they aren't necessarily all that good most of the time. Still, it's definitely changed my perspective a lot. But then I realized that there's still people out there who were like me before, so yeah. Not much you can do about that. Heck, my roommate still hides the RPGMaker games to this day. He said he'd play mine if it's about it, though. He doesn't care otherwise. I think this is actually just by default the wrong, it just starts at the wrong number, right? Double check this here. Yeah. Pretty much how I view that. I almost feel bad talking about that guy's reviews so many times, but I also haven't had many reviews for the game. Like, he's been like the only guy, so I'm so thankful he did, even if it was kind of a strange review to me. He took the time to review it, and I'm so happy he did. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Well, a lot of the times, especially when we're like kids, there were a lot less games than there are now. I mean,
danger.
Even in the days of like PlayStation 2, there really weren't that many games. There were games, sure, but nowadays you get more games released in a month than existed on the PlayStation 2 in its entirety. Between all these different platforms, especially Android and iOS, oh my god. So, there's a reason why it's a lot of people have just hit that high demand for games. There's so many. Wait, I didn't check to see if block got hit.
Take cover.
Hit F8 here. I'm actually looking for block. I don't care about the other. So... I don't think it runs it, right? It does not, because we're looking at line 2265. Okay. Console.assert. I don't know what that does. To be completely honest, I have literally no idea what console.assert does. But yeah, I definitely have noticed that the more I've gotten into game dev, the more my standards have gone down. And now I don't actually even play a lot of AAA games anymore because I don't have time. But when I do play a game, it's almost certainly someone's little indie game. Usually because they want someone to play their game. I'm just like, all right, sure, I'll play your game. I need to pick one day out of the week where I just play people's random indie games. Or just any game for that matter. Maybe even 2 days where it's not every week, but like out of every update period for this, which every update period is 2 weeks, maybe like, you know, the Tuesday and Wednesday after I release the update, I play a couple random games on the stream, and then I go back to working on the next update. Just to kind of break it up some. Because, yeah. Well, these would have already been clicked, right? Undefined, you say? I think what I never did was I just never set that to 1 in the first place. I guess it never mattered until now. Yeah. You know, I think at the end of the day, Blind Engineer, we're actually, as devs, a lot harsher on ourselves than other people are. Like, my first thought is everything I make sucks. 100%. I always think it's terrible. And how I could have done it better. Whereas a normal person is not thinking any of that. It's like the, I see a lot of RPGMaker people do this. Like, they sit there and they try to make this one map super perfect. They spend all this time, everything's got exactly right there. Sit there, like all this logic and reasoning behind where they place everything. And then I like to show them a player play that, especially someone like me who will look at that map for 15 seconds at most. I'll look for anyone who looks even remotely important, maybe chat on them. If I see a treasure box, it's all mine. But otherwise, I'm probably just running right beyond it. I don't care about the feng shui of the pots in that house. I didn't even look at the pots of that house unless they look like they have items in there. I might click the first 1 or 2 pots to see if you hide items in pots, and then I probably just kind of establish you don't. And then I never click on them again. I never look at them. It's so funny to watch, though. They're so worried that people are going to be like, oh my god, this one house ruined the game. No, I don't care. Players don't care. People don't sit there and, you know, watch random, you know, for every little error in a house or a map or anything. They don't check to see if your animations are absolutely perfect. If your animation is close, it's fine. They don't care. So you expect to get roasted, and then you don't, because it's nowhere near as bad as you think in your own mind. Or the too long didn't read version, we are our own harshest critics. Yes. Why did I even go in here? I don't even need to go in here. I guess I can test this out, right?
Take cover.
No? Two, 2, 6, 5. And somehow that's undefined. Why is it undefined? I spelled it right. I didn't misspell it like an idiot. That sure wouldn't be the first time. Yeah. And even then, when you get into those rooms, they don't care about the room. They just cared about the shiny. That's why I've adopted the just kick it out the door strategy. Like, at this point, you know, people have tried the game out. They tell me which things work, and I made a bunch of changes because I just kicked it out the door. Not everything said was good, but hey, it helped me focus where I need to go, so it's all useful. It's all good in a way. Interesting. It's amazing how the things that you think are just, just to throw in and you don't really worry too much about, the players just appreciate so much. And the thing that you spend all that time on, they barely even notice. I think a lot of the reason why, like, coding is probably like the least appreciated thing of all, like, because players don't know how long you spend on that move system. To them, the character just moves and they're happy. It's fine. They don't know that you spent, like, multiple days trying to get something working perfectly like that, or making certain the things felt fair, and none of that. They never notice that. But they will sit there and notice that music that you made. Because they're sitting there listening to it, they're enjoying it, they're interacting with that form of the content in a way that's much more meaningful. The other things are just so what they expect, I think, is the best way to put it. Well, it sucks being a coder, because you go to, like, on social media to show off all the things you coded, and it's hard to show it off, and even then, most people don't care.
I sense danger.
But if I make, like, one graphic, I can just post that up there, and it gets way better reactions. Oh, I was just looking at this here. How is that undefined? But 226 here says 2. Wait a minute. What is going on with this? It's like it has a double console log. But the first console log makes no sense. It's just saying a number, but the console log literally specifies both a string and a variable, like this. But instead it's coming up as undefined. What in the world? Pretty much, yeah. God, the only people ever interested in all the coding I ever do is literally the random devs. That's why the streams are more valuable, I think, because, you'll get people who are interested in the engine kind of watch and maybe figure out something useful that they can do in the engine. Not as many people who actually care about the graphics and the story, but before that, like, I post, like, threads on, like, the forums about it and the various things, and there was for a while, like, before I had all those health problems, where we actually had people who did kind of talk about the coding. And on those forums, it's kind of dead. There's just, like, no one there who cares about it. It's a very different place. This is the most befuddling behavior ever. So I have no idea what this console log is for, because this is the thing. Actually, let me do this. It says it's at 2. So it's technically working, even if this is bizarre. Yeah, I'd imagine they aren't. Good dog, yeah, I definitely would imagine they aren't. Unless they have include, like, the new Doom games, maybe. If it's just like forums for the old Doom games, you might have better luck on the speedrunning forums for the old Doom games at that point. Which I imagine are probably still somewhat populated? I don't know. Yeah, that's probably it, a lot of it. I spend all my time on Discords now at this point, too. I barely ever chat on forums. theory, this is working. The player can't seem to move while blocking, right?
Try. Take cover.
I'm still holding
Take
place.
cover.
Let me see which one's triggering here. I thought this would be such an easier thing to set up, but apparently not so easy. These are not part of the same one there, so it should trigger this.
Are you ready? I sense danger.
I'm thinking about, like, you know, how much I've managed to mod this. I wonder just how far people could take the Doom Engine. I mean, in theory, you could literally just add on to it forever. I suspect they've already done a bunch of mods for it, right?
Don't even try.
I mean, surely they have at this point. Everything else gets modded. I wonder if there's just, like, you know, a really pimped out version of it or not. Like someone just made it like have 4K graphics.
Try.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Take cover.
Level 2 happened there, but she was still locked in place. Maybe the weight's what stops her. That's fair, Kentucky. It's definitely not a good place for long discussions, I've found. Sometimes it can be, but usually there's only one conversation that can be going on in any particular room at a time. Is there high-res mods for it? Nice. Nice. I think the really funny thing to see is the discords that try to act like forums. Those are so weird. I know the Unreal one, like Unreal Slackers, has something like that, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it works. It just feels really bizarre.
Are you ready?
Like when I go to Discord, I'm looking for like immediate conversation and not threads.
I sense danger.
It's like YouTube adding shorts. It's just very weird and feels out of place. Like Discord's just going away from what it normally would be good at. They're a lot easier to set up than the other things, so...
Take cover. Take cover. Take cover. Take cover. Take cover.
Okay, so it locks her in place, but... the problem is... This is going to need a perpetual trigger. I pretty much could tell you that there's definitely brainless things on the forums. Every forum I've been to, oof, sometimes they do interesting things. Yes, yes. The meme threads are probably my favorites, honestly. Or we have profile posts, so on the RPGMaker forums are just full of stupid crap. Tell you I was asking for advice on being Gallus plugins yesterday. You got ignored. Yeah, pretty much blind German. There's a like RPGMaker question section on the main Discord. I always direct people there because a lot of the helpful people only check that. Not a lot of them actually check the main thing there. I can't really speak to the other Discords. I don't hang out on them that much, but of the four, that's pretty much the one I tend to haunt the most. And then maybe Siggy's. Yes, I don't know. I really go to the other ones all about the same, of not very much. Siggy's one has too many sections. I don't like to look at all of them. Thrifty's one is some of the people that hang out there can be kind of a little not the best sometimes to chat with. I don't know. They can be very combative. I'm just like, I. And of course, the Reddit RPGMaker Discord is just pretty much a drama central. There you go, pure drama. Pretty much Batagi. For the official RPGMaker Discord, that's the Japanese section. There's literally a section, like a duplicate version of the entire Discord that's in Japanese, and basically nobody talks there. It's like, okay. They even tried to have some sort of, you know, translator plugin so we could try to talk with each other. That did not. It just, no. They stayed on their side of the fence. We stayed on ours is pretty much how it worked. We're just going to clone the ghost form timer, I think, here. Well, actually, are we? I guess I want an actual global variable for this, so this thing can set it. Right. I don't want multiple events running at the same time if I can avoid it. No, I guess I just do that. Because it can turn itself off as opposed to always running the code, which I don't want to always run the code. In fact, they should always have limits on which ones are available and running. Oh yeah, like Ortega posted the script call list ages ago. He's one of the programmers for RPGMaker, but you can also find a lot of them out too by just simply going into the actual core files. So he doesn't even list all of them or anything like that. But in a lot of cases, like you can go to like objects here, and anything with like, you know, well technically anything with game character base will work too because it's at those. But anything with like game character, you can just do like the $sign game character dot and then any one of these things and you can trigger them. Same true with game character base too. These are also inherited too, so like game player has all the functions of game character, so does game follower, game vehicle, game event, all of them have it. Same thing with game character base, which is like the base of the other one there. This whole thing is built like a giant Jenga tower. So you get these things that are just like this inherits this, and pretty soon these objects are huge and full of a bunch of crap. And you're like, but why? Yeah, because why not? So you just do that, and you can use a lot of these. If anything game player has, you can just call upon them here and you can return the various things. So that's pretty much all the script calls really are. It's just these. You want to check if the game player is transferring? You just game player. All these game player dot is transferring, and it returns if they are or not. There you go. That makes sense. I could see them being a lot more generational. I mean, it's been around a long time. Yeah, it's I guess it's also how you get innovations, right? They try to make that game like a game now. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm just going to clone this here, but I don't want it running all the time. Technically, I could do if he's not all the time. I don't know. Seems like a lot of... Oh, I have the mana refresh big time. Cool. Is there really any reason to do it this way? I don't think so. Well, do I want to be able to modify it easily from something else later? Because then I want a global if that's the case, but otherwise I can just use a self variable and call it square. Oh yeah. You know, listen, $500 in games, totally fine. $60 for a game engine? Who does that? That's weird. Doom has lore? Oh my gosh. I mean, I like lore. I usually like lore more than I like the actual games that are attached to the lore. I know a whole bunch of FNAF lore, and I've never even played FNAF. You blame game theory for that. Wait a minute. I can sit here and edit this so that it's what blocking time? No, don't change that one. I just want it as a backup. I'll make this blocking time. Now I can have other things edited a lot easier. And what it'll do is... Guess I need a switch. Yeah, actually, let's set a switch up real quick here. Put it into the other ones, right? How did I do this exactly? Yeah, I have blocking on and blocking off. So I just do blocking in there. And then no longer run this as the timer. Definitely a more efficient method than the garbage method I was using. I just found the lore for FNAF interesting. Like, I'm a big fan of like random horror things like that and mysteries and stuff. Just totally. Creepypastas especially and things like that. Just sign me up. Connect all the Doom games together? I thought the story was Doom Guy kills lots of demons because Doom Guy is a pimp. He's a badass. He's awesome. Pretty much it. I thought that was the story of Doom. I don't know what the story is beyond that. And a chance Homestruck of all things. I don't even know what Homestruck is. I was gonna say, I have no idea. Am I creating the thing here? Or there? Blocking on, don't turn blocking off. This still locks the player down, I guess. Let's set blocking timer to that. Variable blocking time 60. We'll have that too. And then instead of deleting the emitter here, let's delete the emitter here. And this one's not going to have the action of the thing there because I don't have an action of the player moving while doing that. House Story of Doom nailed it. Nice. I am now officially a Doom lore aficionado. I know everything about Doom lore, I guess. I see no comics. I see only what is in the games where I shoot demons with bigger and bigger guns. Apparently it's good that I never got into Homestruck. Saved myself. Cool. The secret blinded journeyman is if you just never play any games, you never get into anything. What a genius I am. Perfect. I can do better than this. Let's see, let's copy this. I guess I could set it here, right? So this way I don't have that event trigger it twice. Just do it once. And then I don't have to do this, right? Because it'll just add it. Why don't need this part? For the Z set. Prelude to Undertale people. You get annoyed somewhat periodically. Now Homestruck almost sounds interesting to even look at. Funny. I got broke from that. You know, some people like pain. That's my explanation for it. Don't question it. They just like the pain. Let me put the block on this here. The only difference is it's just going to lock the player in place versus not, making it a much stronger block if they happen to have that. I consider playing, like, you know, FNAF Security Breach. That's probably the only one that actually looked like it was even remotely fun, though. All the other ones look so terrible. They just look repetitive to me. I don't
Are
know.
you ready?
Something about them just seems not that exciting.
I sense danger. Don't even try.
Most of the time, I'd rather just watch someone else play it. Not gonna lie. Those are the kind of games where it's all about the reactions to them versus the actual game themselves. Like, I just...
Take cover. Take cover.
Look at it works. Am I hurt by things? Oh, that makes this so good. Oh my gosh. Almost defeats the purpose of Star Armor, really. Actually, it does defeat the purpose of Star Armor.
Take cover.
There's going to be a cooldown on this ability because it's so good now.
Take cover. Take cover. Take cover.
Oh yeah, you'll use this all the time.
Take cover. Take cover. Take cover. Take cover. Don't even try.
It does wear off though.
Don't even try.
You got skill issued by the title
I
screen?
need more energy.
What, in FNAF?
Don't even try. Don't even try. Lovely.
Yeah, FNAF gameplay, I don't know. I mean, I guess it achieved some kind of popularity, so people just like the jump scares, I guess. I don't know. It seemed weird.
Don't even try. Take cover.
This is like way too good. I need to probably reduce it. Let's make certain the other one works correctly too while I'm at it. This does kind of reduce the need for Star Armor. We probably need a replacement for Star Armor if that's the case. Or to shorten this.
Are you ready?
But I never ended up using Star Armor either. It's not good enough.
I sense danger.
Oh yeah. You know, originally the game actually had some mouse controls, but I actually disabled them for the moment because I need to fix them.
Don't even try.
So I literally was like, well,
Don't even try.
I'm just gonna disable them because they cause a lot of problems. And that was something the reviewer was talking about too. It's just like, what about this? I'm like, okay, well,
Take cover.
I guess I should
Take cover. Take cover.
just disable them until I can fix them.
Take cover.
She doesn't stand in place the full amount of time, does she? If I reduce the length of this ability. Yeah, that is kind of funny. The original reason I didn't have those things. Oh, the original reason I didn't have those things even visible was I wanted the player to fly over to them and to notice that what they were, as opposed to just having them see it and think that it's clickable. I don't know. Eventually, though, there will be mouse movement. Maybe that'll be Prototype 4's big claim to fame. Finally adds mouse movement. Means the only ones you care are half-fan game devs. Oh, sounds familiar. Yeah, pretty much. There's a, I don't know, there's a pretty big number of FNAF people. Like, it's a thing. Okay, I don't know. It's just not my thing, but it does seem to be cared about by a whole lot of people. I mean, just look at how many millions of views Game Theory gets on those videos. It's nuts. How about I just reduce the overall time of this to something that's a little less ridiculous? Maybe like 50. It feels so strong. Maybe Star Armor will just give you block 2. level 2. Maybe I just change it.
Are you ready?
I'm eventually going to do away with MP entirely and just have it be cooldowns. Because MP is just, I mean, it works as a global cooldown effectively, but it also means that you kind of prioritize using very specific abilities over others. Because it's all pulling from the same pool, and I don't like that very much. I'd rather they use lots of abilities.
Take cover. Take cover.
That's a little better.
Take
It
cover.
matches the time better.
Take cover. Take cover.
Obviously, the other version is like 1,000 times better. Alright, so this system works. I think this gets handed out by Tinka for beating up Snugglewuffle, right? Not that one. Yep. It's safe after doing all that. I would hate to have to do it over. Oh my god. Ain't nobody want to do this twice. Pesky neck is all stiff from doing PT earlier today. I think the current PT people aren't doing a very good job. I tend to leave that feeling worse, not better. I don't think they I don't think they've picked out the right plan for me, to be completely honest. And Google's feedbacks for text are terrible. I make a change and it's like, wait a second, that's exactly what I want to say. And then they're like, would you like to say this thing that makes literal no sense? No. You sure? Yeah. Are you really sure? Still yeah. How about now? You still sure? Yes. I almost want to disable all its suggestions, but it does point out stupid mistakes every once in a while, so I guess I keep it for now. Maybe I don't space it like that. Maybe I space it like this. I'm of course going to make the two women talk about shopping at some point. Or the more the mystery of how Attic Zone exists and why anybody could shop there if everyone's a cursed mindless toy. These are important questions that must be asked. Oh, catch you later, jump. Plan to German. Have to get dinner, sir. Oh, breakfast? Okay. I mean, breakfast, dinner, it's all a state of mind, you know? It's all about when you wake up and when you fall asleep. That is what dictates when lunch, dinner, and breakfast are. Yes. I identify as having my dinner at 6 a.m. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Making some slight changes to what I had originally written. Really just want to move over that one little space. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I can't pass that opportunity up. She's got to say it like that. Perfect. Because you just fought a cat. Well, tiger, I guess. So, it's very important that she's makes random jokes. put quotations around it so this way the person playing the game doesn't think I misspelled it. And instead actually intended it to say that. Had to adjust the old standing desk. It's been standing for 3 hours, and I think I'm good for the moment. I think I'll sit for a little while. Yeah. In the incredibly unhealthy position of doing game dev, leaned over a desk, going, "Why did I do this? I don't know. Just 'cause." So I need this right here. I almost don't want to even have lines that are this long because they're kind of annoying to read. And I do have a fear that I make Tinka talk too much. Well, she does kind of serve as the game's narrator of sorts and the one who really kind of pushes the story along. So without that, it'd be a lot of just fighting, I guess, which isn't terrible. Yes, I will put an emoji in there for her too. Because we're just running with that joke. Okay, so that's in there now. Let me double check that all the writing is there. So that's the worst thing about doing all the writing, is just having to sit there and double check it all. It just looks like a wall. And then I look over and there's another wall right here and it's like, It's not too bad to write it in the first place. I mean, you know, I've been slowly improving my writing skills, but the copy-paste thing sucks. It sucks a lot. I wish it had the pictures next to them to show who was talking. Like, just in the code here, it just showed you the picture. It'd be so much better. So I gotta look at the name up here. It's just more words. Not enough visuals. If I was the one who made this engine, that would be a change that I would implement in very short order. Right, that's in there. Save so I don't have to do that again. Oh, all quiet on the Western Front, huh? Okay, so let me go back to my list of things that I'm supposed to do. Just slowly remove all the things from the list until I've got it all done. I have so much writing to do. Snuggle with pre and post fight. I think the post fight's actually fine. To double check that. Do I have 2 error sections? I think I do. Let's put this over in the sound section. So I need music for area 5. Need music for boss rush. Okay. I think I'm of the opinion that all of this will be in the next thing there, with the exception of maybe some of the errors being fixed. And I think this DLC joke might not be there either. I think that's not getting in there. Maybe in a later version, but the added end thing for this one is the boss rush. So that seems more exciting than an empty room or saying, oh, you just add DLC later for it. Yeah, okay. I think people will be much more excited about that. I'm debating on the collectibles thing. Making a whole menu system is a lot of work. It does need to get done, though. It's very important that it gets done eventually, but it might be a war thingy. Well, let's look at the snuggle pre-fight, post-fight. I have this document up on 2 different screens. I'll go waffle. Where's Snuggle Waffle's picture? As I keep slowly adding to this game dev Bible, making it cooler and cooler and cooler. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make Snuggle Waffle a giant freaking Care Bear. 100%. It is gonna be the most, you know, over the top, you know, children's thing. It'll basically be the fruitiest thing in the world. It'll be so terrible. It'll be amazing. You get beat up by that. I almost want to have like a Care Bear stare type of thing. Straight up a Care Bear. The look on people's faces when they get beat to death by a Care Bear would be hilarious. On so many levels. Just so many levels. For now, though, we'll use the crappy one because I haven't made a better one. Let me double check this here. So Miranda's being rewritten to not be in that, and she's going to be in the new one. So I need to write a new dialogue for that. I prefer to do all my dialogue writing when I'm a little more early on in the evening. Of course, it's already 5:29 a.m., so it's not that early on in the evening, but I tend to get much worse at writing the longer it goes, so I tend to not be so interested in writing by the time it gets closer to like 8 in the morning. Of course, I have to be to work till like 4:30 tomorrow, so I can kind of derp around a lot more than normal. True. True indeed. Okay, so I need... Half the time I write Tinka is sad. And she's just really a sad character. And then, you know, I mean, like, I guess she's in a situation where it would be not pleasant, but... And sometimes she's just cracking inappropriate jokes. But looking at it, that seems to be how I've been writing things. Interesting. It's not a very good picture for Fortuna's stuff. That'll be fine. Slowly but surely my game dev Bible gets crazier and crazier. 36 pages. I added 6 pages today. Some of it's just dialogue, some of it's not. Yeah, I can't think how to spell ferocity right now. Ferocity. One second. Really. I don't want to put 4 twice there. Thanks for pointing that out to me, Google. May call it early tonight if no one's currently watching at the time, so I can make more graphics. Yeah. After 3 hours, if no one's watching, I usually find it better to stream a different day, to be completely honest. I'll think about it. What are we typing in here? I really gotta rework Snuggle Waffle to be look like a Care Bear. That'd be great. Yeah. And the attic legend that he gives the best. I guess that makes sense. Alright, that's sufficiently weirder. Honestly, like, Tink is a very deflecting character. The more I write her, the more deflecting she is. Hmm. You know, on the plus side, I really could just dump all this into a different engine and it'd be a lot easier. Sometimes I wonder, but at the same time, there really is some sort of thing to be said for having done this in RPGMaker, of all things. Even though Poppet Quest gets like no downloads whatsoever. I think she's had like 23 downloads. So yeah, cool. Neat. Oh well, over time, it'll get better and better, in theory. I think it is time for a bio break because, yes, I've been drinking a lot of tea and we are now at the hour and 39-minute mark. That's not really a mark, but long enough that drinking tea is winning the battle. So I'll be right back.
Destroy.
Any more mana? Any more mana?
Alright, I return. So, I really need to change that thing. I haven't changed any of my Streamlabs stuff in forever. Maybe I'll pick a day and do that, but I'm always working on this, so I don't know. I like what I wrote here. Yeah, they're almost like a little comedic skip between each of them every time they talk. Sometimes they go a little serious. Pinka being way too wordy and sometimes a bit of a downer. And Poppet being almost kind of innocent, but also in a hurry. She just kind of doesn't want to, she doesn't like that Tinka talks a lot. Doesn't even point out there's an extra space there. How about none that I want you to rescue? Maybe I should actually start writing in more things about the characters, because I really haven't put in a lot of information about them. Well, Tinka could have a whole thing all by herself because she just never shuts up. She's literally like the most talkative character in the game. I might start adding to the World Anvil. Just make this like have this Game Dev Bible be a World Anvil instead. I don't know. I could do that. I pay for it. Not that I use it often enough to probably make it even worth it, to be honest. Yeah, I might add all this information later. I've been writing all this stuff in here, and it's just... I have a lot of information. Some of this stuff I wouldn't even want to put up. So I'm not showing on the screen. I'm not sure I want it to actually be something that people know specifically about the lore until it comes up, if it comes up. I do like to hide lore. But only important lore that would make it, like, you know, would spoil things. I'll think about it. I have no idea. Prototype 3, I just wrote, Snuggle Waffle pre-fight. The post-fight's already there. Like, it never even mentions Miranda at all, right? So it doesn't matter. Right here. Looks like those are both rewritten. Oh, I know, because it needs to give her a reward. Right? That's what I was missing. That's all I need to do is include a reward, though. I wish you can slowly get through all the dialogue here. I mean... I wrote that twice, basically. Guess I can copy it in there and just think about what I'm going to put too for the other. Yeah, I may head off early tonight so I can work on graphics while I do this. Wow, it's not really early, I guess. I only really promised to stream until about 5, and I'm already streaming until 6. So it would make sense to dip if no one is watching. True. Someone's angry at my status on the forums. How weird. Okay. Maybe I should just post pictures on the forums. I don't know. An art thingy seems like it gets a lot more interest in there. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it for the night because, yeah, I've done a lot of streaming lately, and I can probably use a break and not stream until like 8 or 9 in the morning like an idiot, and then have to be up to work in short order and all the life hating that's involved with that. There's a lot. Let me tell you, there's a lot. So yeah, I will call it for the night. And tomorrow I'll probably have some new pictures for things. I'm gonna make like more unique versions of the bosses, so that's probably gonna be a thing. I need to finish up the story. I'll probably write more story even after I get off the stream, but maybe not. Maybe I'll just go like and just, you know, kick it for the rest of the night. I don't know. Anyway, have a wonderful night, morning, evening, or whatever it is for you. And it's Imaginary Villain signing out. I'm off to do, I don't know, something. Something that isn't game dev. Catch you later.